The Lucifer Effect. Book by Philip Zimbardo. Detailed summary. Chapter 1: The Psychology of Evil. The Psychology of Evil is the first chapter of Philip Zimbardo's book, The Lucifer Effect, Understanding How Good People Turn Evil. In this chapter, Zimbardo sets the stage for exploring the nature of evil and delves into the psychological factors that contribute to the emergence of evil behaviors in individuals. Zimbardo begins by acknowledging that evil has been a pervasive force throughout history, often perpetrated by ordinary people who engage in extraordinary acts of cruelty and harm. He highlights various historical events and atrocities, such as the Holocaust and the Rwandan genocide, as examples of the magnitude and consequences of human evil. Zimbardo emphasizes that understanding the psychology of evil is crucial for preventing future atrocities and promoting prosocial behavior. The chapter introduces the central concept of the banality of evil, originally coined by philosopher Hannah Arendt to describe how ordinary individuals, rather than being inherently malicious, can become agents of evil through the influence of situational factors. Zimbardo argues that focusing solely on the characteristics of evil individuals overlooks the power of situations in shaping behavior. Zimbardo discusses the influence of social roles and norms on human behavior. He references his famous Stanford prison experiment, in which participants were randomly assigned to play the roles of prisoners and guards. The experiment revealed the rapid transformation of ordinary college students into cruel, authoritarian guards and traumatized, submissive prisoners. The study demonstrated the alarming potential for situational forces to override individual moral values and lead to extreme behavior. The chapter also addresses the issue of dispositional versus situational explanations for evil behavior. Zimbardo highlights the limitations of solely attributing evil to inherent personality traits and argues for a more comprehensive understanding that incorporates situational factors. He explores the continuum of human behavior, ranging from heroism to evil, and emphasizes the importance of recognizing the potential for both good and evil within each individual. Zimbardo introduces the concept of the Lucifer Effect, which he defines as the transformation of ordinary individuals into perpetrators of evil due to social, psychological, and organizational influences. He outlines the factors that contribute to the Lucifer Effect, including de-individuation, anonymity, diffusion of responsibility, and conformity to group norms. The chapter concludes with a call to action, emphasizing the need to identify the situational factors that enable evil to flourish and to develop strategies to prevent and counteract them. Zimbardo emphasizes the importance of personal and social responsibility in resisting the allure of evil and fostering a society that promotes compassion, empathy, and ethical behavior. In summary, The Psychology of Evil serves as an introduction to the book, setting the stage for the exploration of the complex interplay between individual dispositions and situational factors in the emergence of evil behavior. It highlights the power of situations to influence and transform human behavior, emphasizing the need to understand and address the situational factors that contribute to evil acts. By examining the psychological underpinnings of evil, Zimbardo aims to encourage a deeper understanding of human nature and promote a more compassionate and morally responsible society. Chapter 2: The Transformation of Human Character. The Transformation of Human Character is the second chapter of Philip Zimbardo's book, The Lucifer Effect, Understanding How Good People Turn Evil. In this chapter, Zimbardo explores the factors that contribute to the transformation of human character, particularly in the context of understanding how seemingly good individuals can engage in evil actions. Zimbardo begins by discussing the concept of dispositional versus situational explanations for behavior. He acknowledges that while individual traits and dispositions play a role in shaping behavior, situational factors are often overlooked and can have a powerful influence on individuals' actions. Zimbardo argues that understanding the interplay between dispositional and situational factors is essential to comprehending the transformation of human character. The chapter highlights the importance of socialization and social roles in shaping human behavior. Zimbardo explains how individuals are socialized into specific roles within their families, schools, and communities, and how these roles shape their identity and behavior. He introduces the concept of role engulfment, where individuals become so immersed in their assigned roles that they lose sight of their individual moral values and act in ways that are contrary to their true selves. Zimbardo examines the concept of obedience to authority, drawing on Stanley Milgram's famous obedience experiments. He explains how individuals can be compelled to engage in harmful actions against their own moral judgment due to the power of authority and the social pressure to comply. Zimbardo argues that obedience to authority can lead to the transformation of human character, causing individuals to engage in acts of evil that they would not have otherwise committed. The chapter also explores the influence of de-individuation on human behavior. Zimbardo discusses how anonymity and a loss of individual identity within a group can contribute to a diminished sense of personal responsibility and moral restraint. This phenomenon can enable individuals to engage in behaviors that they would typically consider morally wrong, as they no longer perceive themselves as accountable for their actions. Zimbardo further examines the role of conformity to group norms in transforming human character. He discusses the Asch conformity experiments, highlighting how individuals may succumb to group pressure and conform to the majority opinion, even when they know it is incorrect. This conformity can lead individuals to act in ways that contradict their personal beliefs and values, contributing to the transformation of their character. The chapter concludes by emphasizing the need to recognize the power of situational forces in shaping human behavior. Zimbardo emphasizes that seemingly good individuals have the potential to engage in evil actions when placed in certain situations. Understanding the transformation of human character requires an examination of the interplay between individual dispositions, social roles, obedience to authority, de-individuation, and conformity to group norms. In summary, the transformation of human character explores the complex interplay between individual dispositions and situational factors in shaping behavior. It highlights the role of socialization, obedience to authority, de-individuation, and conformity in transforming human character and enabling individuals to engage in evil actions. By understanding these factors, Zimbardo aims to shed light on how seemingly good people can turn evil and to encourage a deeper understanding of the complexities of human behavior. Chapter 3: The Power of Situations, How They Control Us. The Power of Situations, How They Control Us is the third chapter of Philip Zimbardo's book, The Lucifer Effect, Understanding How Good People Turn Evil. In this chapter, Zimbardo delves into the influence of situational factors on human behavior and highlights how situations can exert control over individuals, often leading to unexpected and sometimes harmful actions. Zimbardo begins by emphasizing that situational forces have a profound impact on our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. He argues that human behavior is not solely determined by individual traits or character but is significantly shaped by the power of situations. Zimbardo presents the idea that by understanding the power of situations, we can gain insight into how good people can be drawn into evil actions. The chapter explores several key factors that contribute to the control of situations over individuals. Zimbardo discusses the concept of mindlessness, where individuals engage in automatic, habitual responses without conscious awareness or critical thinking. Mindlessness can lead people to act in ways that are inconsistent with their true values and intentions, as they are influenced by situational cues without conscious deliberation. Zimbardo also examines the influence of environmental cues on behavior. He explains how physical surroundings, such as the layout of a room or the presence of certain objects, can prime individuals to behave in specific ways. Environmental cues can trigger automatic behavioral scripts and override conscious decision-making processes, leading individuals to conform to the expectations set by the situation. The chapter further explores the power of social norms and expectations in shaping behavior. Zimbardo discusses the Asch conformity experiments and the bystander effect to illustrate how individuals are influenced by the behavior and judgments of others. He emphasizes that people are inclined to conform to social norms, even if those norms contradict their personal beliefs or values. This conformity can result in the diffusion of responsibility, where individuals feel less accountable for their actions within a group context. Zimbardo introduces the concept of role-playing and its impact on behavior. He highlights the Stanford prison experiment as an example of how individuals, when assigned specific roles, can adopt the associated attitudes and behaviors, even if those behaviors are inconsistent with their true selves. The experiment demonstrated the power of situational forces in transforming ordinary individuals into either abusive guards or vulnerable prisoners. The chapter concludes by emphasizing the need to recognize the power of situations and the situational factors that can influence behavior. Zimbardo argues that understanding the control exerted by situations is crucial for promoting ethical behavior and preventing individuals from being drawn into evil actions. By becoming more mindful of situational influences, individuals can resist the control of situations and make conscious choices aligned with their personal values. In summary, the power of situations, how they control us, highlights the significant influence of situational factors on human behavior. Zimbardo explores concepts such as mindlessness, environmental cues, social norms, and role-playing to illustrate how situations can override individual intentions and shape behavior. By understanding the power of situations, individuals can become more aware of their impact and make conscious choices to resist negative influences, ultimately promoting ethical behavior and preventing the transformation of good people into perpetrators of evil. Chapter 4: The Power of Systems, How They Control Us. The Power of Systems, How They Control Us is the fourth chapter of Philip Zimbardo's book, The Lucifer Effect, Understanding How Good People Turn Evil. In this chapter, Zimbardo focuses on the influence of systems, institutions, and organizational structures on human behavior, highlighting how these larger systems can shape and control individual actions. Zimbardo begins by asserting that individuals are not solely responsible for their actions, but are often influenced and constrained by the systems they operate within. He argues that the power of systems lies in their ability to create norms, establish hierarchies, and define the rules and roles that govern behavior. Zimbardo stresses the importance of understanding the dynamics of systems in order to comprehend how individuals can be led to engage in unethical or harmful behavior. The chapter explores various aspects of systems that exert control over individuals. Zimbardo discusses the impact of dehumanization within systems, where individuals are seen as mere cogs in the larger machinery, stripping them of their individuality and fostering a sense of detachment from their actions. This dehumanization can lead to a reduction in empathy and an increased likelihood of engaging in harmful behaviors. Zimbardo also examines the influence of power structures within systems. He discusses the Stanford Prison Experiment and its findings regarding the abuse of power by individuals in positions of authority. The experiment revealed how individuals in roles of power can become consumed by their authority, leading them to engage in abusive and degrading behavior towards those in subordinate positions. Zimbardo emphasizes that systems can create a culture of obedience to authority, fostering an environment in which power can be abused. The chapter further explores the role of anonymity and diffusion of responsibility within systems. Zimbardo discusses how the diffusion of responsibility can occur within large organizations, as individuals feel less personally accountable for their actions when they are just one among many. This diffusion of responsibility can lead to a lack of moral restraint and an increased likelihood of engaging in unethical behavior. Zimbardo highlights the importance of recognizing the systemic factors that contribute to harmful behavior and calls for the need to create ethical systems that promote accountability, transparency, and responsible decision-making. He argues that systemic changes are necessary to prevent the emergence of evil behavior and to foster a culture of moral responsibility within organizations and institutions. The chapter concludes by emphasizing that individuals are not inherently evil but can be influenced and controlled by the systems in which they operate. Understanding the power of systems is crucial for recognizing the factors that contribute to the transformation of human behavior. By addressing systemic flaws and creating environments that promote ethical behavior, it is possible to prevent individuals from succumbing to the negative influences of systems and institutions. In summary, the power of systems, how they control us, explores the impact of larger systems, institutions, and organizational structures on human behavior. Zimbardo highlights the dehumanizing effects of systems, the abuse of power within hierarchical structures, and the diffusion of responsibility that occurs within organizations. By understanding the control exerted by systems, individuals can work towards creating ethical systems that promote accountability and prevent the transformation of good people into agents of evil. Chapter 5: The Power of Individuals, How They Resist Situations. The Power of Individuals, How They Resist Situations is the fifth chapter of Philip Zimbardo's book, The Lucifer Effect, Understanding How Good People Turn Evil. In this chapter, Zimbardo examines the capacity of individuals to resist the negative influences of situational and systemic factors and explores various strategies and mechanisms that empower individuals to maintain their moral compass and resist engaging in evil actions. Zimbardo begins by emphasizing that while situations and systems can have a powerful influence on individuals, individuals also possess the power to resist and transcend those influences. He argues against a deterministic view that paints individuals as passive victims of circumstances and instead highlights the agency and potential for moral courage that individuals possess. The chapter explores different factors and strategies that enable individuals to resist the pull of negative situations. Zimbardo discusses the role of moral exemplars, individuals who demonstrate extraordinary moral courage and serve as inspirations for others. He emphasizes the importance of showcasing and celebrating acts of heroism and moral integrity to inspire others to follow suit. Zimbardo also explores the concept of moral disengagement and its counterpart, moral engagement. He explains how individuals can disengage from their moral values and justify unethical behavior through cognitive mechanisms such as dehumanization, diffusion of responsibility, and euphemistic labeling. On the other hand, moral engagement involves actively aligning one's behavior with moral values and taking responsibility for one's actions. The chapter discusses the importance of cultivating moral education and socialization from a young age. Zimbardo argues that teaching empathy, ethical decision-making, and moral reasoning can equip individuals with the tools to resist negative situational influences. He highlights the role of family, schools, and communities in fostering a sense of moral responsibility and instilling values that guide individuals towards ethical behavior. Zimbardo explores the concept of personalizing situations as a strategy for resistance. By maintaining a sense of personal accountability and responsibility for one's actions, individuals can resist the diffusion of responsibility and maintain their moral compass even in challenging circumstances. Zimbardo also emphasizes the importance of cultivating a strong internal locus of control, allowing individuals to believe in their ability to make independent choices and resist the influence of external factors. The chapter concludes by stressing the importance of collective action and the power of social movements. Zimbardo argues that individuals who band together can resist the negative influences of situations and systems more effectively. By creating supportive communities and networks, individuals can draw strength and find encouragement in their shared commitment to ethical behavior. In summary, The Power of Individuals, How They Resist Situations explores the capacity of individuals to resist negative situational and systemic influences. Zimbardo highlights the role of moral exemplars, moral education, personal accountability, and collective action in empowering individuals to resist engaging in evil actions. By understanding and harnessing these individual sources of power, individuals can maintain their moral integrity and contribute to the creation of a more compassionate and just society. Chapter 6 Heroism, Why Heroes Are Ordinary People Like You and Me. Heroism, Why Heroes Are Ordinary People Like You and Me is the sixth chapter of Philip Zimbardo's book The Lucifer Effect, Understanding How Good People Turn Evil. In this chapter, Zimbardo explores the concept of heroism, dispelling the notion that heroes are extraordinary individuals and instead highlighting that heroism is a potential within each of us. Zimbardo begins by challenging the traditional view of heroes as extraordinary beings with exceptional qualities. He argues that heroes are not born but are created through a series of choices and actions. He emphasizes that heroism is within the reach of ordinary individuals and aims to uncover the psychological factors that contribute to heroic behavior. The chapter delves into the motivations and characteristics of heroes. Zimbardo identifies four key factors that drive heroic actions: a sense of responsibility, moral integrity, courage, and empathy. He argues that heroes possess a strong sense of responsibility to help others, guided by their moral values and a deep empathy for the suffering of others. Courage is also a crucial characteristic of heroes, as they are willing to take risks and act despite potential personal harm. Zimbardo presents several examples of heroic acts to illustrate his points. He discusses the case of Kitty Genovese, a woman who was brutally murdered while bystanders failed to intervene, contrasting it with instances where individuals did display heroism by coming to the aid of others. These examples highlight the situational and individual factors that can either inhibit or facilitate heroic behavior. The chapter explores the concept of the banality of heroism, challenging the notion that heroism is a rare and exceptional occurrence. Zimbardo argues that heroic acts are more prevalent than commonly believed, occurring in everyday situations where individuals make selfless choices to help others. He emphasizes the importance of recognizing and celebrating these acts of heroism as a means of inspiring others to follow suit. Zimbardo also examines the role of social influence in promoting heroism. He discusses the concept of the heroic imagination and the power of narratives and role models in shaping individuals' perceptions of heroism. By exposing individuals to stories of heroism and providing positive role models, societies can foster a culture of heroism and encourage more individuals to engage in heroic actions. The chapter concludes by emphasizing the need to cultivate the potential for heroism within ourselves and others. Zimbardo argues that heroism is not solely reserved for exceptional individuals, but it is a capacity that lies within each of us. By recognizing our own responsibility, moral integrity, courage, and empathy, we can tap into our heroic potential and make a positive impact in the lives of others. In summary, heroism, why heroes are ordinary people like you and me, challenges the conventional notion of heroes as extraordinary individuals and highlights that heroism is within the reach of ordinary people. Zimbardo explores the motivations and characteristics of heroes, emphasizing a sense of responsibility, moral integrity, courage, and empathy as key driving factors. By understanding the psychological and situational factors that promote heroism, individuals can cultivate their own heroic potential and contribute to a more compassionate and courageous society. Chapter 7: The Abu Ghraib Prison, a Situation Gone Awry. The Abu Ghraib Prison, a Situation Gone Awry is the 7th chapter of Philip Zimbardo's book, The Lucifer Effect, Understanding How Good People Turn Evil. In this chapter, Zimbardo examines the infamous events that took place at the Abu Ghraib prison in Iraq, shedding light on how situational factors, system failures, and individual dispositions contributed to the systemic abuse and dehumanization of prisoners. Zimbardo begins by providing historical context and describing the conditions and environment at Abu Ghraib during the Iraq War. He discusses how the combination of a high-stress military operation, inadequate training and oversight, and a lack of clear guidelines created a fertile ground for the abuse and mistreatment of detainees. The chapter explores the role of situational factors in shaping the behavior of the soldiers involved. Zimbardo highlights the power of social roles and the influence of the immediate environment. He argues that the hierarchical structure of the military, coupled with the absence of effective supervision, allowed for the emergence of abusive behaviors among some of the guards. Zimbardo also discusses the influence of group dynamics and how social norms within the prison environment shaped individual actions. Zimbardo examines the role of individual dispositions in the Abu Ghraib situation. He acknowledges that while the majority of soldiers did not engage in abusive behavior, certain personality traits and predispositions can make individuals more susceptible to engaging in unethical actions. He explores the concept of the bad barrel and the bad apples, highlighting how a few individuals can contaminate the entire system. The chapter analyzes the photographs and testimonies that emerged from Abu Ghraib, revealing the extent of the abuse inflicted upon the detainees. Zimbardo discusses the dehumanization of the prisoners, emphasizing how the power differential between guards and detainees, along with the lack of accountability, contributed to the violation of human rights and the erosion of empathy. Zimbardo also addresses the responsibility of higher-level authorities and the system failures that allowed the abuse to occur. He critiques the lack of proper oversight, training, and guidance provided to the soldiers, arguing that the systemic flaws created an environment conducive to abuse. He emphasizes the importance of holding those in positions of power accountable for their failures and the need for systemic reforms to prevent similar situations in the future. The chapter concludes by emphasizing that the events at Abu Ghraib should serve as a wake-up call to the potential for situational and systemic forces to lead otherwise ordinary individuals to engage in evil actions. Zimbardo argues that understanding the situational factors, system failures, and individual dispositions that contributed to the abuses is crucial for preventing similar atrocities and promoting ethical behavior in the future. In summary, the Abu Ghraib prison, a situation gone awry, examines the events at Abu Ghraib and analyzes the situational, systemic, and individual factors that contributed to the abuse and dehumanization of detainees. Zimbardo highlights the power of social roles, group dynamics, and the influence of the immediate environment on individual behavior. He also addresses the responsibility of higher-level authorities and the need for systemic reforms to prevent such situations. By understanding these factors, individuals and institutions can work towards creating environments that promote ethical behavior and prevent the transformation of good people into perpetrators of evil. Chapter 8, Revisiting the Stanford Prison Experiment, a lesson in the power of the situation. Revisiting the Stanford Prison Experiment, a lesson in the power of the situation is the 8th chapter of Philip Zimbardo's book, The Lucifer Effect, Understanding How Good People Turn Evil. In this chapter, Zimbardo reflects on the infamous Stanford Prison Experiment conducted in 1971 and explores the enduring lessons it offers about the powerful influence of situational factors on human behavior. Zimbardo begins by providing a brief overview of the Stanford Prison Experiment, explaining how it was designed to study the psychological effects of perceived power and roles within a simulated prison environment. He discusses the selection of participants, the establishment of a mock prison, and the assignment of roles as either guards or prisoners. The chapter delves into the unexpected and troubling outcomes of the experiment. Zimbardo highlights how the participants quickly internalized their assigned roles, with guards displaying abusive and degrading behavior, while prisoners became passive and compliant. He discusses the escalation of abuse, the deterioration of mental and emotional well-being among the prisoners, and the overall atmosphere of cruelty that developed within the simulated prison. Zimbardo reflects on his own role as the prison superintendent and acknowledges his failure to recognize and intervene in the escalating abuse. He explores the ethical implications of the study and the criticisms it has faced over the years, particularly regarding the potential harm inflicted upon the participants. Zimbardo grapples with the ethical boundaries of psychological research and discusses the steps taken to ensure the safety and well-being of the participants. The chapter examines the lessons learned from the Stanford Prison Experiment and their broader implications. Zimbardo argues that the study highlights the profound impact of situational factors on human behavior and the potential for good people to engage in evil actions under certain circumstances. He emphasizes the importance of recognizing the power of the situation and the need for increased awareness of the potential for abuse and mistreatment. Zimbardo also addresses the controversy surrounding the study and the criticism that it may have been influenced by demand characteristics or the experimenter's bias. He discusses the efforts made to replicate and validate the findings of the experiment and highlights the consistency of the outcomes across various replications, further supporting the validity of the results. The chapter concludes by emphasizing the ethical and practical implications of the Stanford Prison Experiment. Zimbardo argues that the study serves as a cautionary tale, highlighting the need for ethical guidelines and oversight in psychological research. He emphasizes the importance of creating institutional safeguards to prevent the abuse of power and protect individuals from harmful situations. In summary, Revisiting the Stanford Prison Experiment, a lesson in the power of the situation reflects on the controversial Stanford Prison Experiment and its lessons about the powerful influence of situational factors on human behavior. Zimbardo acknowledges the unexpected and troubling outcomes of the study and reflects on his own role as the prison superintendent. He explores the ethical implications of the experiment and emphasizes the need for increased awareness, ethical guidelines, and institutional safeguards to prevent the potential for abuse in research and real-world situations. The chapter serves as a reminder of the profound impact that situations can have on individuals and the importance of fostering a greater understanding of the dynamics of human behavior. Chapter 9, Understanding the Abu Ghraib Abuses, a Situationist Perspective. Understanding the Abu Ghraib Abuses, a Situationist Perspective is the 9th chapter of Philip Zimbardo's book, The Lucifer Effect, Understanding How Good People Turn Evil. In this chapter, Zimbardo provides a comprehensive analysis of the Abu Ghraib prison abuses from a situationist perspective, exploring how situational forces contributed to the dehumanization and mistreatment of detainees. Zimbardo begins by contextualizing the Abu Ghraib abuses within the broader framework of the Lucifer Effect, highlighting how situational factors can override individual morality and lead to the perpetration of evil acts. He emphasizes that understanding the power of situations is crucial for comprehending the events at Abu Ghraib and for preventing similar atrocities in the future. The chapter examines various situational factors that contributed to the abuses. Zimbardo discusses the impact of the prison environment, noting that the architecture, layout, and design of Abu Ghraib created a dehumanizing atmosphere that facilitated the mistreatment of detainees. He also highlights the role of power differentials and the hierarchical structure within the prison, which allowed for the exercise of unchecked authority by some guards. Zimbardo explores the influence of social roles and the process of role engulfment that occurred at Abu Ghraib. He explains how the guards, immersed in their roles as tough and dominant individuals, gradually adopted the behaviors and attitudes associated with those roles, including the dehumanization and humiliation of prisoners. Zimbardo argues that the situational pressures and expectations placed on the guards contributed to their transformation into perpetrators of abuse. The chapter also examines the role of conformity and obedience to authority in the Abu Ghraib abuses. Zimbardo discusses the influence of social norms and group dynamics within the prison environment. He argues that the desire to fit in, gain approval from peers and superiors, and avoid punishment led the guards to conform to the abusive behaviors that were already prevalent in the system. Zimbardo addresses the issue of individual dispositions and the bad apple argument, which suggests that the abuses were solely the result of a few individuals with inherent sadistic tendencies. He challenges this perspective, arguing that while individual characteristics may have played a role, the broader situational and systemic factors were critical in shaping the behavior of the guards. The chapter concludes by emphasizing the need for systemic reforms to prevent future abuses. Zimbardo highlights the importance of accountability, oversight, and training within institutions to ensure the ethical treatment of individuals in custody. He argues that by understanding the situational forces that can contribute to abuse, society can work towards creating environments that promote empathy, human rights, and ethical behavior. In summary, understanding the Abu Ghraib abuses, a situationist perspective provides a comprehensive analysis of the abuses at Abu Ghraib from a situationist standpoint. Zimbardo explores the influence of the prison environment, social roles, conformity, and obedience to authority in shaping the behavior of the guards. He challenges the notion of individual dispositional explanations and underscores the need for systemic reforms to prevent similar abuses in the future. The chapter contributes to our understanding of how situational forces can lead to the transformation of good people into perpetrators of evil acts and highlights the importance of situational awareness and ethical safeguards within institutions. Chapter 10: Why do some become evil? How situational forces can transform individuals. Why do some become evil? How situational forces can transform individuals is the 10th chapter of Philip Zimbardo's book, The Lucifer Effect, Understanding How Good People Turn Evil. In this chapter, Zimbardo explores the question of why seemingly ordinary individuals can engage in evil actions and examines how situational forces play a significant role in transforming people's behavior. Zimbardo begins by emphasizing that evil is not inherent in individuals but rather a product of specific situations and circumstances. He challenges the traditional view that evil is solely the result of bad apples or inherently flawed individuals, arguing that situational factors can override personal morality and lead even good people to engage in harmful behavior. The chapter delves into the concept of the banality of evil and the idea that evil actions often arise from ordinary, everyday situations. Zimbardo discusses the famous Milgram experiment and the Stanford prison experiment to illustrate how situational factors, such as the presence of authority figures, social norms, and the power of roles, can override individuals' natural inclinations towards compassion and ethical behavior. Zimbardo examines the role of de-individuation in the transformation of individuals. He explains how anonymity and diffusion of responsibility in certain situations can lead individuals to engage in actions they would otherwise find unacceptable. He also discusses the influence of group dynamics and the power of conformity, emphasizing how the desire to fit in and gain acceptance can compel individuals to abandon their personal moral compass. The chapter explores the concept of moral disengagement and how individuals can justify their harmful actions by selectively disengaging from moral standards. Zimbardo discusses various mechanisms of moral disengagement, such as dehumanization, euphemistic labeling, and diffusion of responsibility, which allow individuals to distance themselves from the consequences of their actions and rationalize their behavior. Zimbardo also addresses the issue of personal accountability and the importance of external constraints and ethical safeguards in preventing the transformation of individuals into perpetrators of evil. He argues that institutions and societies must have checks and balances, proper oversight, and clear ethical guidelines to prevent abuses of power and protect individuals from the corrupting influence of situational forces. The chapter concludes by emphasizing the need for situational awareness and ethical decision-making. Zimbardo argues that by understanding the power of situational forces and recognizing the potential for their transformational effects, individuals can cultivate a greater sense of personal responsibility and actively resist the negative influences of their environments. In summary, why do some become evil? How situational forces can transform individuals explores the role of situational factors in shaping individuals' behavior and their propensity to engage in evil actions. Zimbardo challenges the notion of inherent evilness in individuals and highlights how social roles, authority, group dynamics, and moral disengagement can lead to the transformation of good people into perpetrators of harm. The chapter underscores the importance of situational awareness, ethical safeguards, and personal accountability in preventing the negative consequences of situational forces and promoting ethical behavior in individuals and institutions. Conclusion: the banality of heroism. The banality of heroism is the final chapter of Philip Zimbardo's book, The Lucifer Effect, Understanding How Good People Turn Evil. In this concluding chapter, Zimbardo explores the flip side of evil by examining the potential for heroism within individuals and highlighting the banality of heroism in everyday life. Zimbardo begins by challenging the prevailing belief that heroism is reserved for exceptional individuals or extraordinary circumstances. He argues that heroism is not limited to a select few but can be found in ordinary people who demonstrate acts of courage, empathy, and moral integrity in everyday situations. The chapter delves into the concept of the heroic imagination and the importance of cultivating a mindset that recognizes the potential for heroism within oneself and others. Zimbardo emphasizes the power of social modeling and the role of heroes as inspirations for positive action. He encourages individuals to recognize the heroic potential in their own lives and take proactive steps to make a difference. Zimbardo discusses different forms of heroism, including everyday heroism, situational heroism, and heroic deeds in times of crisis. He emphasizes that heroism is not solely defined by grand gestures but also by small acts of kindness, compassion, and standing up against injustice. He encourages individuals to embrace the opportunities for heroism that present themselves in their daily lives. The chapter explores the psychological factors that contribute to heroism, including empathy, moral courage, and a strong sense of personal values. Zimbardo argues that by cultivating these qualities and developing a sense of moral responsibility, individuals can rise above situational pressures and engage in acts of heroism. Zimbardo also addresses the importance of social systems and institutions in promoting heroism. He highlights the need for social support, encouragement, and recognition of heroic acts. He emphasizes the role of education, media, and cultural narratives in shaping the collective understanding and appreciation of heroism. The chapter concludes by underscoring the transformative power of heroism. Zimbardo argues that by embracing the banality of heroism and recognizing the potential for positive action within oneself and others, individuals can contribute to creating a more compassionate and just society. He emphasizes that heroism is a collective endeavor and calls for a cultural shift that celebrates and encourages acts of heroism. In summary, the banality of heroism concludes the book by shifting the focus from evil to heroism. Zimbardo challenges the perception that heroism is exceptional or rare and instead highlights the potential for heroism within everyday individuals. He explores the psychological factors, social systems, and cultural narratives that contribute to heroism and emphasizes the transformative power of small acts of courage and compassion. The chapter serves as a call to action, encouraging individuals to embrace their own heroic potential and work towards creating a more empathetic and heroic society.